Alright, let's start with a fact that blew my mind this week. 60% of people earning $100,000 to $150,000 a year are still living paycheck to paycheck. Wait, what? I thought six figures was supposed to mean financial freedom, right? But here's the twist, this data reveals the real divide isn't about age or income. It's about how people think about money. And that, my friends, changes everything we thought we knew about financial health. Let me explain why this matters so much. The study breaks consumers into three groups: reactive, proactive, and balanced. And get this, how you manage money creates a 31-point gap in financial stress within the same generation. So while everyone's busy blaming millennials for avocado toast ruining their savings, the real story is way more nuanced. Take boomers, for example. Balanced boomers have half the daily living stress of their reactive counterparts. Same age group, same era, wildly different outcomes. That screams behavior over birth year to me. Now, here's where it gets personal. Reactive folks. They're the ones slashing spending last minute and panicking over bills. But what fascinates me is how this backfires. Cutting back on essentials like clothing or utilities might save cash short term, but it creates a cycle of stress. Proactive people, though, they're negotiating bills, side hustling, using installment plans smartly. And balanced individuals. They're saving more while spending strategically. So why aren't we teaching this in schools? Because here's the kicker, banks and lenders still judge financial health by income and age, not habits. That's like judging a book by its cover, and it's leaving millions mislabeled as high risk when they're just bad at budgeting. Let's unpack the Gen Z angle for a second. Their biggest stress? Building emergency funds. Meanwhile, reactive millennials are drowning in credit card debt. What does this say about generational trauma around money? Gen Z grew up watching their parents get crushed by the 2008 crisis, so they're hyper-focused on safety nets. But if they're still struggling to build savings, maybe the system's rigged against them. Or maybe we're seeing the limits of hustle harder advice when rents are sky high and job security's a myth. What this all boils down to is a massive blind spot in personal finance. Income matters, sure, but it's not destiny. I'll never forget talking to a guy who earned $500,000 a year and had zero savings because he lived like he earned $100,000. Conversely, I've met teachers and nurses with modest salaries who built six-figure nest eggs. That's the power of financial behavior. And here's the uncomfortable truth, most of us don't examine our money habits until crisis hits. So maybe the bigger question isn't, how much do you make, but how do you think about money? Let me leave you with this, if you're watching this, you're probably either curious or concerned about your financial situation. So here's my challenge, what category do you fall into? Reactive, proactive, or balanced? And more importantly, what would happen if we redesigned financial education around these behaviors instead of just interest rates and 401(k)s? Drop your thoughts below because I want to know, what's the weirdest money habit you've broken or embraced that changed your financial trajectory?